Hey guys, how you guys doing? This is Solar Gray, the cinematic sorcerer, and man, I am so disheveled today. So disheveled today because it is hot. It is so hot today. I mean, it's almost hot enough to be like, how hot is it? And I'm just going, yeah, it's too hot, too damn hot. How you doing, man?
Hey man, it's hot. That's how I'm doing. I'm really hot. Yesterday was 115 degrees.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not okay.
Yeah,
So,
right? It is hotter today. Like, it was hotter yesterday here in beautiful Southern California. Like, again, I live in Long Beach. I live 7 blocks from the water. Okay? 7 residential streets from the water. And it was hotter on my block than it was on the Vegas Strip. I actually have the numbers.
oh man.
I actually have the numbers. It was 114
Yeah,
here and 106 there.
Not okay. Yeah, I couldn't get a lot of stuff done because I ride a motorcycle, and it's just like I'm not going out in this heat.
Yeah,
It's
we
not
both
happening.
ride motorcycles. Move the mic a little bit closer to you.
Oh, come here, Mike.
Yeah, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Yeah,
It's a
keep
yellow
talking.
snowball.
Yeah,
Let's
I
not
was
eat
thinking
it.
about changing the color of it, you know?
No, I think you should leave it.
Yeah?
I think you should leave it. Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, so, oh, by the way, welcome to Hobby Hall. Now, this show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, no, I'm not going to start singing like I was Hugh Jackman. But Hobby Hall is the show all about the hobbying aspect of the gaming community, okay? Hobbying aspect where we talk about building games and painting games and people sending me damn emails and stuff during all that, but that's about it. Like I said, I'm so freaking overheated
Yeah.
that like I'm shining and I'm answering my text, and this is like the one and only show that you guys are going to see the cinematic sorcerer without a turtleneck. But it is so hot, I had to drop my wizard gear.
Yeah, it is. It is hot. But we're gonna go put this in the shot.
Hmm?
This is
And
back in the deck swag. It's hard to. Oh, you can. There you go. You can read that.
so for those of you guys
Still back.
listening on SoundCloud, what not even or not good at stuff is doing is flashing the keychains, the back in the deck keychains that we have for the people out there doing the thing. For the people out there leaving comments, buying swag, helping us keep afloat. And for those of you that actually want to know how you can help, because this is going out on YouTube and they do all that begging at the beginning of the videos now.
You
Which
should do it at the end too.
Huh?
Open and close. Begging sandwich.
Yes, it's a content sandwich with begging bread. But yeah, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell if you're doing that whole thing. Head over to our GoFundMe. There's a link in the description below. And honestly, join up. Well, as soon as the GoFundMe comes through with all the stuff, you'll be able to sign up at backinthedeck.com, where you'll have access to all of our content and all of the things that we have been working on, our back catalog. We're talking like some good stuff here. I actually figured, well, check it out. Check it out, Dave. I'm figuring that,
What am I checking out?
Hmm?
What am I checking out? Let's check it out.
Yeah, I talk about the website every week, right?
You never show it?
Huh? Yeah, I never show it.
You should show it.
Yeah, I should totally show it. So, yeah, that's so
Almost.
that's what I'm going to do. I'm going
I'm
to
watching him bring it up. As if you guys are watching me, I'm watching him. Sorry. I know it's very entertaining.
So, yeah,
It's hot.
yeah, again,
Leave us alone.
it's hot and all that stuff. But, yeah, as I was saying, just come on down to the website where you can see our back catalog of shows, and you get to see what we are all about.
You're showing me.
Huh?
I think you're showing me. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's www.backinthedeck.com. Again, we have our archives of shows. Look at that really, really pretty thing right there with the slider saying what we're at and what we do. We also have an archive of stores that are good to our people, primarily, stores that treat everybody like a person, even if you are a person of color, LGBT, disabled, female. If you're not a middle class white guy, we actually go door to door to as many states as I can get to and speak with stores on a one-on-one basis, and we have interviews with the store owners and all that stuff. So yeah, we're literally trying to build a global community, starting in the continental United States, because that's where I am.
Yeah, makes sense. You shouldn't start in Europe if you're not there. That wouldn't make any sense.
Exactly. Big shout out to Garblag Games, by the way, because they are some of our international deckers. They are another YouTube channel. And this particular channel does like live stream of games and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're awesome guys. Awesome guys out of the UK. And yeah, they're actually streaming a Mage the Ascension game and their Warhammer Fantasy roleplay game right now.
Nice.
So, matter of fact, yeah, they have.
Hello and welcome to Garblag Games. It's 30 degrees.
We're going to, we got some really nice dudes, and here's some stuff that they do. Flint and steel. Yeah. So that is, I totally forgot, but yeah, and these guys actually do a lot of their games over Skype, and showing you guys that you don't have to be in the same room to do the stuff. But
yeah, we might need to figure that out if it's gonna be this hot in the future. I might need to Skype in,
Yeah,
just remote in.
Like I said, I dropped the ball. Okay, I totally dropped the ball. That was on me.
No, I knew the heat wave. This is the heat wave's fault,
see,
man.
I knew it was coming, and I didn't go out and buy the proper materials because I've been broke.
It doesn't sound bad. 100 degrees, it doesn't sound that bad. And you're in it. You're like, no, I'm in an oven, and there's nowhere you can go to escape.
Yeah, I actually, yeah, of course, this is the section of the show where we talk about the stuff that we've been doing and how our week's been and all that stuff.
Sweating. We've been sweating.
Yes. Yesterday, okay, in the middle of the heat wave, the girl and I decided to we were like, dude, this is just too much. This is too much. I can't do it. Can't do it. So we went down to our local home improvement boutique. We know it as Target. Yes, we went to Target. And
the fancy people go.
Yeah, seriously, because we don't go to Walmart.
No.
But yeah, we went to Target, and we did a lap around the store, right?
Just to be in the AC? That's what I used to do as a kid.
No, not quite. We did a lap around the store to look for the fan section.
Oh, okay.
We went looking for fans, but it was like a lap around the store because it's 30 degrees cooler in here than it is not. And so we're doing the thing, and I found the section where they keep the fans and the air conditioning, and I swear there were like 4 boxes.
Yeah.
Of like desk fans.
Yeah.
That's it. Just 4 desk fans, the little bitty box things.
Welcome to shiny, warm Southern California.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you can't even get a fan.
Yeah, exactly. And I walk past there, and I'm just like, of course, the rich people got here this morning. And we pulled aside just the cutest little bug of a worker at Target. And we were like, she wanted to get this cooling tower with an air filter thing, and I'm like, huh? What do you? I know air conditioning and I know fan. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a box, I know a little tower, and I know a stick with some blades on it. Those are my 3. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I can deal with getting a fan, I suppose, but all I see it doing in the studio is just moving the hot air in a great big circle.
It's just gonna mess up your sound too.
Yeah, which makes it so that we end up getting nice and tender.
Yeah,
It's
nice. It's a nice even coat.
Yeah,
burn.
exactly. So I'm like, okay, so our meat will fall off the bones and we'll cook up real nice. Maybe get some barbecue sauce in my hair type thing.
Sure.
If
you're into that kind of stuff,
Well, there's.
Your kink is not my kink, and that's okay.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Yeah, that's right, because again, there's room for everybody.
Absolutely,
there's room for everybody.
Absolutely.
And so we talked to the girl, and she's like, "Ooh, I'm sorry, we're out." And I'm like, "You're out?" She's like, "Yeah, we sold everything today. All that we have left is in aisle C24 or something like that, which was the very aisle that I looked at and I laughed."
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, guess you're gonna have to. You want to try Best Buy? And Best Buy, those are some clever bastards. Those are some.
I used to work for Best Buy
once
upon a time.
And yeah, you seriously want to know how clever these dudes are?
Well, I mean, they're probably more clever than I used to be.
Well,
but go on.
Yeah. They have the window mount air conditioning.
The swamp coolers or the
No,
actual?
the AC that you put
Okay.
in the window and
Okay.
all that stuff. On display the minute you walk in the store.
Nice.
Like you walk in the store
know what's
and
up.
it is, we know why you're here.
We know
And-
you're not here for computers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
that ship is sailed. We have it here
Yeah.
for the old folk.
Yeah,
Anyone that's
exactly.
like below the age of 40 doesn't shop here for computers. I always felt real bad about Best Buy, like their Geek Squad and stuff. The only people you would get in there were just like these real elderly folks who just clicked yes to everything that popped on their screen. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I just want to email my kid. you
Uh-huh.
know?
Next
And
thing you
have
know,
every
they're
virus
saying,
notice under
yeah.
the sun, you know?
yes, put 10,000 viruses on. Yes,
Yeah.
I like international child slavery. Yes,
Yes.
buy my daughter with the iPad agreement, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But these dudes, they had a display, 6 air conditioning, and the 2 cheapest was like $136 per unit. But
That's
they
not-
weren't there. They were gone with a sign that said, everything you want for your air conditioning needs, just give us the measurement and we'll put stuff on order.
Nice. Nice.
And I'm just like, damn. And yeah, it took me a while to get the attention of a
Worker bee.
a worker bee, but it was cool because I just went to the car, grabbed my trench coat, walked back into Best Buy,
Why the
and had
hell
my
would you do
girlfriend
that?
hold her purse, and then I got 3 salesmen like before you could blink. It's great. It's it's the person of color invocation of all store assistants. You know, if it doesn't work, then I just have them call me Pockets, and then then I start getting, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you?
Yeah, maybe not for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh no, it doesn't work for you.
No.
No. You just get arrested for being like a pervert. You know.
Yeah, well, white guys aren't allowed to wear trench coats ever since Columbine. So,
Yeah,
which
it's
is fair
true.
because we don't need them.
Well,
Well,
no,
in
I mean-
California we don't need them.
I mean, you do get the help. You just have to put on the trench coat and then roll up the bottoms of your pants so it doesn't look like you're wearing any. And then
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
will be there to
Well,
help you.
I think a lot of people run away too. Again, your kink is not my kink. That one may not be okay though.
Yeah,
you need consent.
no, that one is actually pretty
That's
far
not
from okay. So yeah, I mean, I just being from where I come from, and some of you guys will get this. Sometimes you just gotta accept. You just gotta accept. This is what it is. This is what it is. It's
Mhm.
hot. It's muggy. And I have tried. I have tried to fix the environment in my apartment. I have tried to make it comfortable. Now I just have to shed my clothing and wet down a towel and tough out the night.
We are not wearing pants. We agreed. We needed the extra breathing room.
Right?
So, we have a gentleman's agreement.
Yes,
And
we
it's
have
okay.
gentleman's agreement, which is why we are framed like this, and we always look directly at each other or at you.
Yes.
That is, yeah. So honestly, that was just yesterday.
Right.
That was crazy.
That was day one.
Day 1 of the heat wave. It is less. It's cooler today.
Yes.
It is cooler by about 5 degrees.
Yeah.
And-
Outside,
Hmm?
if you go down to the street outside, when I was coming in, it was nice and breezy, but unfortunately there's not enough
Not in the
enough
studio.
airflow in the studio.
Yeah,
There's
not
none
in the studio. Yeah, nope. There's none. There's none in the studio. And what hurts is that I didn't know that until you walked in here, man. I didn't know what it was like outside.
Well, I mean, dude, let's just go outside. We'll figure it out. We'll just shoot
can't
on
until
camera.
the end of the broadcast.
Let's hurry this up then, man. It's dying. We're dying in here.
Yeah, so right now I'm just
Ooh,
sitting
boy.
up going, I dream of a world that
There's-
doesn't boil
There's a
my
breeze
blood.
outside, Solar. There's a breeze outside, my
Yeah.
friend. It's
Uh-huh.
gotta get there. It's gotta
Yeah,
get
next
there.
thing you know, you're gonna be telling me, keep digging, I'll find Jesus. Anyway,
Maybe.
today's-
I don't know about that.
Yeah, so today's show is about some really fun stuff. Fun till Daddy takes the T-bird away.
Oh my gosh. Did you really do that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I did.
You did. Mm-hmm.
Hey, you know what? I'm the producer of all these shows, which means the jokes that I want go.
That's true. That's true. When you have the ability, well, you don't even edit these. You're live stream.
Yeah, I
I was
do
gonna say-
edit them actually.
Oh, okay.
I edit them for SoundCloud, and I edit all the
Okay.
edit all the
So only the people who are
preview
like
snippets,
here with us now have to suffer the bad jokes.
exactly,
Okay,
or the
good,
ones who
good.
listen to the whole thing on SoundCloud, which you
Masochists.
guys can do.
I mean, thank you guys.
Not masochist.
No, you guys are great.
No, honestly, a lot of our crowd really consists of people that go, you know what? I make jokes like that. These guys are just like me. So if I call
the
them
bad joke
losers,
club.
I'm calling myself a loser. And I
mean,
hate myself, so these guys are losers.
What's
So-
the club in it? Where the Losers Club? Is that
Yeah.
what it's called? Yeah.
Oh no, they're the lovers club because they, when the dude wrote loser on the cast, they kind of did the thing and covered it with yeah. But today we're talking primarily about painting of your minis. Okay,
I hope so.
painting your minis.
I was
And-
confused.
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of things like buying the minis and painting or altering or doing green stuff
I
or
love-
terrain.
I love altering
mean,
green stuff.
Yeah, we got
We'll get there.
yeah, we got so much to talk about on this. Sorry, Doug or not. you
Be
know,
jealous.
He's probably sitting up with his daughter going, "Daddy loves you," and hates them so hard.
I'm pretty sure that's the exact dialogue going on in his head right now. And he's just smiling like, yeah, I'm going to keep smiling at you guys, but die in a ditch.
Yeah, I'm gonna hear it tomorrow on Game Gallery.
I'm
I
sure.
know it. Yeah, normally we're more professional than this, but as you can
too
see,
hot.
it's just way too hot. We gotta drink something on it, and I'm drinking. Drinking and
I'm telling
Talon.
you, you need
It
to
is-
invest in Kool-Aid.
Huh?
You're the Kool-Aid cult, man. I'm telling you, bring it back. You got this. Just
The Kool-Aid cult?
I want Kool-Aid next time I come. Is all I have a humble request. Kool-Aid.
Do I look like Jim Jones?
I don't know who that is. Is that the cult guy?
Yeah.
No, you don't look like him. He was white and pasty as
Yeah,
all
thank
get
you.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong, he had property in Africa.
Did he?
That's where they drank the Kool-Aid, dude.
Oh, I thought it was in California or
no,
Waco or something.
No, Waco was the
I lose
Branch
track.
Davidians. That was...
I lose
Yeah.
track of where the crazy people are.
Yeah,
'cause
no,
it turns out they're everywhere.
He took the cult to Africa, and that is where he made them drink the Kool-Aid.
Because that's where the spaceship was going to pick them up.
Yeah, because, the cult started in San Francisco, but you can't get away with having people commit suicide by gunpoint in San Francisco. San Diego, on the other hand...
San Diego is a wild party down there.
Yeah, I know, in 2 weeks, and we're going to be there.
Good luck with that.
We're going to be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Good luck with that.
We're
I've been there once.
We're going to be, like, getting some interviews, hopefully with Steve Jackson Games and with all the Rat Games,
Yeah,
and...
that'd be rad. though.
I mean, we're going to be like doing some playtesting, a lot of live streaming. Some of it's going to be on Instagram, some of it's going to be on YouTube Live. All of it's going to be shaky camera.
The best kind.
But for today, what we are talking about are, well, we've got some serious things. The first thing I want to talk about, as far as like painting your miniatures and all that stuff in this aspect, is the first thing, number one, thing, and this is the thing that kept me from painting until I was 25. You ready?
I think I'm ready.
Setting fair expectations on your skill levels.
See, you're doing it wrong already. I see why you took so long.
Yeah.
So,
Do tell.
the first thing you got to do is find a mini you want to paint. Then you paint the mini. It's okay if you don't do a great job, but like if you're not painting minis, you're not going to get better. You just got to get in there and start working at it.
And see, that is why I'm not doing it wrong. See, one of the things that kills people, especially in the new thing, is we get the mini that we want to paint, and we see that mini, right?
Right.
And in our heads, it's like, it looks like a miniature version of a cartoon that I watched, like Macross. Not that I started with Robotech minis, and
What a way to start.
and then like we see it complete, right?
Right.
We see it done. We see it in our heads, and then we pick up a brush, or actually, with some kids, we pick up a nail polish thing.
Hey, you know what? Nail
And-
polish stuff's really good for minis.
Not saying it isn't.
Yeah.
What I am saying is those brushes don't help on small models.
Yeah.
And what we end up holding is far, far, far away from what we pictured in our head by the third stroke. Like by the third stroke of the brush, we know that this is harder than we thought.
It
And
can
then
be, yeah.
we throw it away. So setting that fair expectation
Oh, you should
is
have thrown it.
really,
But yeah.
really, really important so that we can accept the thing that you just said.
Mhm.
Paint it and know that you're going to get better on the next one.
Yeah, and not just that, but as you're painting it. So if you're putting on we talked about last time, the 3 colors.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're putting on color 1, right? We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna be doing 3 colors. You're putting on color base coat, the most important coat. You put it on, and it's probably not gonna come out the first couple brushes, especially if you're brand new. Yeah, it's gonna come out a little rough. You're gonna see brush strokes. You're gonna see things like that. But if you go about it and you thin your paints, and that's real key.
Yeah.
You thin your paint. And if you have to do multiple layers because it's kind of translucent and you're seeing like the black undercoat or the white undercoat of your primer, then put another coat on. Let it dry. Put another coat on. Same thin paint. If you have to put multiple on, it's better to put multiple thin coats on than one thick coat. As a kid, I had a real hard time understanding that. My dad used to always tell me that, like, oh, take your time. Nope,
It's
didn't
like
listen.
painting a wall, son.
Well, he told me from background in construction. He doesn't do minis at all. But yeah, from his background in construction, painting walls and stuff, yeah, it's like, yeah, just do multiple thin coats. It's more even. You get a better finish.
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, or if you're excited to get this model painted,
You get this image in your head of
Yeah.
one brush and
That's
it coming
not how
out
it works.
perfect.
that's not how it works.
Man.
Unless you're airbrushing, but that's cheating.
Even then.
And that's expensive to get into.
And
But it's
even
awesome.
then, yeah,
It's
even
expensive,
then, when you're first starting off with airbrushes, that
Yeah.
first pass of the airbrush.
Oh yeah. You're
Yeah,
gonna get all
no.
kinds of weird. I practiced airbrushing a napkin or multiple napkins for about 3 hours before I even put the airbrush to a mini, and that was just to put a base coat, just blue on the whole thing. Before I even did that, nope, got to sit there and draw circles, and I got to practice controlling the brush.
And did you have like 80s pop rock in the back? And
Of
you
course,
sitting up there,
everyone needs a
"You're the
montage.
best
Everyone
around,
needs a
nothing will
montage.
ever keep you down."
That's
You know.
actually one of my favorites.
Really?
No, who doesn't love Rocky?
That was the Karate Kid. You know.
Sweep
No,
the
wait,
leg, Johnny.
sorry, it wasn't the Karate Kid. That was
No, I think that is a Karate Kid.
no,
you're
that
right.
was Fist of Fury.
Really?
No.
I thought it was Karate Kid.
But yeah,
But who doesn't love Rocky?
Hmm?
Seriously, who doesn't love Rocky?
I think I met 3 women over the course of my life that didn't.
Well, you don't know them anymore, right?
No.
Okay, we're
That's
fine
why
then.
it's I think.
Yeah, okay. We're fine
You
then.
know,
Let's,
yeah.
I mean, I
Oh.
misquoted which song was in Rocky, but it's all right.
Wow. Oh, wow. Hey, we got somebody in the chat,
Uh-oh.
talking about, let's see, heat wave there in June suddenly. Yeah, right? Yeah, well, this is somebody that definitely doesn't live out here. And yeah, we got Nick in the chat. Okay, maybe it was South America for Jonestown. Either way, it wasn't California. That's
I
the
thought it
whole
was in
point.
California, but I think it's because I
That
think
was the
he
Manson
started
family and
there.
Heaven's Gate, and he
Yeah, yeah.
started and Jim Jones started in San Francisco. So,
I'm
but yeah.
sorry I don't know about my cult leaders as well as I should.
well, it's, you're not the cinematic sorcerer. You're not good at stuff,
That's true.
and you're not supposed to be good at stuff because if you
true.
were not good at stuff and you were good at stuff, then
That'd be
you
a
would
lie.
just
I'd be a liar.
exactly a humble bragger. So, but
Figured me out. Uh-oh.
But as far as setting the expectations, understand these things are skills.
Absolutely.
These are skills, and every skill comes with a learning curve.
Absolutely.
When you first learned how to ride your bike, it was like, yay, I can stay upright. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And then if you're up late on Thursday night and you're watching Cinemax and Rad comes on, you see like those stunt BMXers, and it's like, okay, I don't know how to make my bike hop up and down while not moving, but I can ride a bike,
Right.
because it's a skill level. If you guys are musicians out there, you're not going to be playing Dragon Force the moment you pick up a guitar.
No, you're playing Freebird. Play Freebird.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's sad. I like the song. I just don't like how racist it was.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well,
Not as racist as Sweet Home Alabama, because I know the Neil Young song that they were talking about.
really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Things I
well,
didn't know.
Yeah, and in our off time, I'll show you the lyrics, and then I'll show you the Neil Young song,
Okay.
and you'll be like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I like
You
that
know.
song.
Hey, I used to like Pantera until Phil Anselmo got up on stage and screamed white power. I'm like, oh, now I have to throw away Vulgar Display of Power and freaking Cowboys from Hell. And
Yeah.
damn it. Why'd
It's
you
like-
do it, Phil?
It's like I used to love Hulk Hogan, and he made some slurs. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hulk Coke. Why?
Well, you know what's funny for me on that?
Hmm.
I was an Ultimate Warrior fan.
I love Ultimate Warrior
Because
too.
when I pick my
And Macho
heroes,
Man.
I make sure they're crazy and coked out.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah. Ultimate Warrior was coked out of his mind, I believe.
So was Macho Man.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
I mean,
was
most of those guys probably were.
I mean,
But
you get,
you're
ooh,
running around.
yeah, you got the whole thing with Miss Elizabeth and a Slim Jim, and I'm walking around with tassels on and pointing at myself like somebody who's sober would never ever do.
If
you
he
know.
stopped using the fucking steroids, his Slim Jim wouldn't be so slim.
It's true. It's very true. But then you got the Ultimate Warrior who, let's face it, too much coke.
Too much.
Way.
I don't think he knew how to talk. Yeah, it was on so much coke. He's just like, "Rawr!"
Yeah, there's a YouTube video of Spoonie and Linkara reviewing the comic book series that he wrote.
Oh,
And it is
my gosh.
glory.
I
Every
didn't know
time.
he did one. Guess
Oh,
what I'm
it's
looking up
called
later.
Warrior, and he defines distrucity.
All right.
Yeah, it is his philosophy.
Distrucity.
Distrucity. You know.
All right, things you learn.
Yeah,
Today
things
I
you learn. And one of my friends actually hit me up. He's like, "Well, now that you got this production company, why don't you do Ultimate Warrior movie reviews?" Blah blah blah. Because he was your favorite wrestler, and I'm like, "Dude, I don't see the world through the lens of a wrestling fan." Now, if you end up getting yoked up and want to do movie reviews as the Ultimate Warrior, cool. As a matter of fact, if you want to get the wig and the muscle suit,
I'd watch it.
you know,
I'd watch it.
I'll film it. But I've got too much on my plate to
Mhm.
freaking stay up for. God, I think I would have to stay up for about 25 hours so that I could really understand the Ultimate Warrior speech patterns for the impression.
Yeah.
And that's just.
See, I
it's
really
too
don't
much.
remember him talking. I remember him screaming a lot. But
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm
That's
like,
exactly it.
What is his speech pattern? You have to dig to find his speech pattern.
Oh, no, you
first.
don't. No, you don't. Essentially, you have to think if I
Oh, yeah.
were talking to ancient spirits, and I put a period every third and fourth word of every single paragraph that I spoke.
Oh. All right.
It's hard,
Hmm.
you know.
I'm
And
sure
then
you figure it out.
oh, I can do it, but in order to do it well, I
You
have to
gotta
hurt myself. and,
That or
but
just do
anyway.
a lot of coke.
yeah, no, thank you, dude. I'm not a
Don't
drug
do
dude.
drugs, kids.
Yeah,
And if you're
I'm
doing
not-
hobbies, you can't afford to do drugs.
Yeah, right. Drugs are so hobbies are so the anti-drug.
Yep.
It really is.
Gaming and hobbies.
It's like, come on, Mom, I need $25 for that new Gundam. Come on, I need.
just need $12 for a booster pack of magic cards. Just come out, Mom.
You know, I'm just sitting in the basement with all the boys. Yeah, and you come out sweaty and stinky, which we will be addressing that on one of these shows.
I
'Cause,
mean, this might be the one, dude. We're gonna come out here sweaty and stinky. Like,
no, because we both
woo,
bathed. You
I
know,
bathed
I took
before
a shower
came here.
last
I don't
night.
know why. I should have just
Yeah.
let it ride, you know?
No, I'm
Like,
glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't, because you know.
You don't want to be in a hot box with me?
No, it's not that. I don't want that stuff seeping into the walls so
Oh
that
my
tomorrow when
gosh,
someone
yeah.
else comes by, they're like, oh my God, it smells like Dave's underwear. You know, I just don't want that.
I think it'll smell like Dave's everything. It's just gonna be awful. Yeah,
But-
Doug's gonna sit in this. It's still gonna be wet tomorrow when Doug sits in this chair. Enjoy it, Doug. Not.
It's true. But anyway, so setting proper expectations for your models, you have to understand that everybody has a skill level
Mm-hmm.
and very few people are happy with their skill level because
That's true.
the doing of the thing, like every single model that you paint or movie that you make or story that you write, you end up being better at the end of it than you were at the beginning of it.
Absolutely.
And you end up with these ideas like, okay, well, I should have done this. I should have done that.
Yeah.
And, you know, that leads us into the second bit of the expectation part, which is real simple. Let it go.
Yeah.
The best is the enemy of good enough. Do the best you can. And if you improve while you're doing the best, apply that to your next model, to your next project.
absolutely.
You know.
So, and for that aspect of it, what I was going to suggest, because you kind of like, hey, this is things I want to talk about. I was like, good, I have some ideas. So, like you were saying, just doing the base coat. Sometimes you're going to see, oh, this isn't how I want it to go, blah blah blah. Well, if you're doing multiple models, if you're in that situation, which if you're doing like miniature armies and stuff like that, you probably have that opportunity to some extent. What I really like to do is do batch painting. So you take 5, 6, a unit, whatever, however many models you're going to be working on,
Mm-hmm.
and you do the blue on all of the models, and then the black or the green or whatever the colors you're going to be choosing. And so you actually have an opportunity, if you do it in a batch assembly process, to do model 1, and you're like, oh, I screwed this up. Go to model 2. Oh, I did it better. Model 3. Oh, I did this even better, because you're practicing doing that color, or you're doing that technique, or you're doing that shoulder pad, whatever it is. And if you're focusing and you're trying to improve, that's a nice way to just practice the same thing over and over. So if you got a squad of guys, like 10 guys or whatever, you got to paint their shoulder pads, let's say. They have a shoulder pad on each arm. You got 20 shoulder pads to paint.
Right.
By the 20th, I hope you've improved from the first, and you probably have. You probably have. Especially if you're aware, or you're able to look at the model and go, what did I do wrong? Which can be difficult, but there's certain telltale signs for your paint thickness. If it's too thick, you're probably going to put down one coat and not see the undercoat, which might be a tip off. And then number 2, the big one for me, because I tend to ride my paint a little thick, because I tend to do it in one brush, even though you shouldn't. I'm preaching, don't do it. Don't do what I do.
No,
do it the right way, which is 2 coats, 2 thin coats, to quote Lord Savior Duncan. He's the GW paint wizard over there. But yeah, if you have brush strokes in your paint, if you're seeing your brush stroke in your paint, that is a clear indicator your paint is too thick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you put on paint too thick, you should always be painting with like a napkin or something. I like napkins right next to it, or paper towel, and you can just dab that right off. Just immediately, if you mess up, just try to get it off. Get it off. If you mess up something that you've already done, you can go back and touch it up. But in the immediate right now, getting it off, your 10-second window, whatever it is, depending how fast your paint is going to dry, depending on your environmental conditions and where you're working, you can save yourself a lot more work than trying to go back and scrub the paint off or chip the paint off and put it back on and all that. So what I was going to suggest is, if you're working, you have this really pretty model you really want to work on, but you also have a couple extra, work on them all kind of in tandem. Work one color at a time across all the models that are going to share that color. And then come back around, because every time you put brush to model, you have the opportunity to improve. Take that opportunity. Sometimes it's fine if you have that really gorgeous model you really want to do up nice, put it on the back burner. Knock out some of the mooks first. Knock out some of the small, easy stuff. Even if you're working on the one model, knock out some of the easy stuff first, and then come around to that. And there's various techniques of how to identify what's easier, what's not easier, depending on what you're going to do. That's all complicated. But the real basic, especially if you're kind of looking at the 3-color approach like we talked about last time, is, do all the color A, do all the color B, do all the color C. Now, let's say you've completed your range of models you're working on. Now you've got 3 colors on everything, so they're tabletop ready, you're good to present them. But now you can go back and you can do them all, and you can add a 4th color, or you can add some highlights and some extra detail. And everyone's kind of at the same spot, so you can kind of pick up whoever you want to do first. And, it just can, it's just doing the whole thing in a big batch assembly really saves you time, helps you improve as you go. It keeps all of your models relatively the same kind of same level of skill, because you're kind of improving. It's harder to tell, oh, that was your first model and this is your newest model, if you're doing them all in this method. Okay. So when I do a unit at a time typically, because I'm playing with armies and I'm dealing with units, so I have about 10 dudes, maybe 20, and the first couple colors may not come out so well. The first couple models probably need touch-ups. By the time I hit that 20th model, oh no, that thing's I got this down on pat, and then I roll back around to the first model to hit the second coat or whatever, and then it's super clean, super smooth. And I do a lot of my painting with airbrush now, because I got into an airbrush. I had a really cool Christmas present, and so now I got an airbrush. A lot of people will just do the base coat with airbrush, but I'm getting all the nooks and crannies. I'm gonna bring this color right up to the other color, and it's just because I keep doing it. I just keep doing it. My first couple passes with an airbrush, which is something I had to relearn how to paint with an airbrush compared to a brush. My first couple passes, oh no, I wouldn't dare bring color A close to color B, because they would spill over. Right. So I would just put color A down, and then I would take the brush and put color B on. Well, now I put color A, B, C, D, E, F with the airbrush, and then only when I'm doing the very finest of details do I bring the brush into it anymore.
I totally get that.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the process of learning. You might start with a thick brush or a small brush and then be able to mix it up. Like my brush work, I used to take the smallest brush possible so I didn't slather paint everywhere. And now I'm taking the biggest brush I can because I can save time and I know I'm not going to spill the paint everywhere. I'm like, no, it's going to go where I want it to go. So now I can speed up the process.
What you're talking about is you're doing like samurai training.
You're doing kind of.
I shall start with a twig.
Sure.
Now that I can cut a peach with a twig, I shall move up to a stick. You know.
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't liken a big brush to a katana. I would actually argue it's the other way around. I would say the big brush is a stick, but I see what you're saying, and kind of.
I would actually liken the big brush to the calligraphy pen. Thank you.
Okay, sure, but I'm saying like the scalpel or the katana is really sharp and it's for precision type work compared to a club, which is just for brute.
That's true.
And in painting minis, the big brush is for the big brute. Like, I'm just gonna put the paste coat on. It's a base brush. Another thing we didn't talk about last time, but now we're talking about brushes right now. Something that I learned not too long ago, but just kind of maybe an duh for some people who've been doing it for a while, but people getting into it, you probably don't know this. If you go to Michael's or Joann's, like I was saying last time, you can go there and get all kinds of stuff. If you get brushes that are long-haired, that is really bad for mini painting.
Really bad.
You want
God.
short brushes. The longer brushes are good for canvas painting, as what they're primarily for.
Right.
But yeah, for when you're doing mini stuff, you want shorter bristle. And you can find
what is the reason for that?
It's I don't know exactly the reason off the top of my head, so I'm gonna give you what I think it is, but I'm probably wrong because I'm not even good at stuff.
Well, finish what you were saying and then I'll explain the reason.
Oh, okay, you know the reason, great.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're looking for brushes and you're only finding like long bristle brushes at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's, whatever you're looking at, look for a game store. You can look online too. There's a bunch of different brushes online. They're a little pricier, but take care of your brush and it'll last you a long time. If you don't take care of your brush, it won't last you a long time. I don't clean my brushes very well. I buy cheap brushes, even though they're hobby brushes. I buy cheap brushes. I use them for like a batch of models and it's in the garbage can, but it's like $2-3.
We'll get to that brush maintenance and stuff next week because, of course,
I don't know a lot about brush maintenance.
The subject that we got going this week leads directly into the next bit, which is highlights, inking, and dry brushing.
Ooh, not inking, man.
Oh yeah,
inking is for historical minis, guys. Not as cool, hip, fantasy guys and sci-fi guys.
Yeah, okay.
I don't ink my models, man. I shape.
Oh,
them.
I do. I totally do.
Inking's.
Totally do.
That's a different skill set.
No, it's actually they're some of the big shortcuts.
Yes. Shading is the biggest shortcut known to man. It's a big trigger.
I'm on the dry brushing thing.
Dry brush is really good too.
Again, that's next week.
Sure.
But when it comes, but finish what you were saying.
That's pretty much it. I was just saying if you can't find shorter bristled brushes, check around online or find miniature brushes for painting miniatures. You need the right tool for the right job.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah,
the tools and the job. And you know what I gotta say is as much as I'm not or haven't been a great big fan of the company over the past 20 years, I will never deny that the Games Workshop brushes
they're great.
Always good. Always good.
They're great, but they're expensive.
Yeah, they are.
You get what you pay for in a lot of cases.
Exactly.
P3 Privateer Press brushes. Those are pretty good ones too.
Yeah.
And then I think mine's like AK-47 brushes I just started getting.
Okay.
And they're cheaper, but they're almost the same quality as P3. But they're more disposable. And I don't feel bad if I throw them away because like $2-3. P3s are like $5 or $6, and then Games Workshops are pushing 8 in the States.
8, sometimes 12.
Sometimes 12, depending on the brush. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I would definitely say is if you're in a college town, if you're fortunate enough to live by university, head to their art supply store. Like
you'd be surprised what you find in there. Yeah.
Yeah, places that actually sell things for artists like Gesso and various resins and things like that, because they have the different brushes, like the stuff that goes for painting. Michael's is good. Hobby Lobby is good. But a lot of the times, they don't exactly have what you're looking for because they don't
they're
go.
there for finger painting, kids' arts and crafts.
Exactly.
Grandma's
like
arts and crafts.
Arts and crafts and stuff. Not, I'm going to be an artist. I need
Correct.
a flare brush, or at least the people that are trying to keep up with with Bob Ross YouTubes, you know. So
I've always wanted to do like a stream of doing Bob Ross, trying to do a Bob Ross painting while he doesn't follow along. That'd
well,
be fun.
when I get it edited, I'll send you the link to the Bob Ross game, where the game is exactly that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to play
but
it.
no, I'm actually picturing the Juggernaut on a black thing, like, and now we're just gonna take this cowboy miniature and we're just gonna put some brown on that. That's right.
I don't
That
think he's
little
that
cowboy.
calm.
That little cowboy. That's ooh, damn it! Yeah, it's okay. I'm just gonna turn this cowboy into an ice cream man.
Oh no.
There's no such thing as accidents. There's no such thing as mistakes. Just happy accidents.
Happy accidents.
But moving on to our next subject, because yeah, I'm actually keeping time in mind. Understanding your intention when you start is a really big thing. It's a really big
Absolutely.
thing. Like, are you doing this to practice? Are you going to paint this miniature to get better at a skill? Are you just trying to get down to the table? Or, for you Gundam fans out there, don't think I ain't thinking about y'all anime brothers and sisters. Are you painting this Gundam for the first time?
Yeah.
You know, so what is your intention? Are you going to display this? Are you going to, in my case, yeah, I took a lot of the plastic Gundam minis, like back in 98, 99, and I'd play with them.
Yeah.
I'd paint them up, and I would use them as toys.
I would
because-
use them as toys, which is why I don't buy them.
No,
They're too expensive to be used as action figures.
they're like $10 now.
Oh,
You know?
what?
I'm talking like the 177 scale,
Oh,
so they're
okay,
only
okay,
like
okay.
that big.
Mhm.
You know?
I always see those giant $130 box ones.
Yeah, no, those
And
ain't toys.
Yeah, they got the hanger that you can put them in, so they look like they're refitting. I'm like, man, if I had room to put them somewhere, I could
Yeah.
probably convince Diane to let me have one eventually for like a present or something. But I have nowhere to put it, so
No, I
like-
totally get that.
like I don't know where I got that dice roller off you for the Cthulhu. I'll be painting that up for the show, so I can show some of my what I'm talking about off. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's just nowhere to put it, so it just kind of sits in my lap when I'm at my desk. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, well,
no, definitely there. But when I end up getting a mini for whatever reason, I have to ask myself, what am I actually doing with this? What am I
Absolutely.
doing? Am I getting it to play? Is this just an infantry guy? Is this something I've been looking forward to? Like, not gonna lie, if I really, really, really want to get this thing on the table, I'll slap on the base coat, I'll slap on the metallics, and I'll call it a day
Mhm.
before even putting finish on it. If you're concerned about the way your minis look, don't do that. Don't ever do that.
well,
But playing is my number one thing.
sure,
You know, playing is that it's when it comes to hobby or playing of the game.
sure.
I
Most
go
people,
for playing
think.
myself.
I think most people do. I
Um,
mean, there's obviously some who fall into the hobby side.
Oh,
more,
yeah.
but I would say that what I typically do is I typically go across. Like I said, I usually do a unit at a time now.
Mm-hmm.
But what I usually do is I usually put on the 3 colors,
Mm-hmm.
and then I come back to them and I put on the details. That way I can play with them as soon as basically I assemble them, put on the 3 colors, they're table ready, and I can put them on the table, and I'm not
Well,
putting gray models down, you know. And
you gotta slow your roll until I turn the camera on to
oh, it's fine, it's fine. Like I got a lot to say. Camera comes around when it comes around, but so yeah, like I said, I'll put the 3 colors down, and so I can put the model on the table, and it's like the rest of my army for the most part. It's not up to the full standard I want it to, maybe, but that's enough to get it on the table. I can start rolling games with it, even if it's just assembled in bare bones plastic. That's
Mhm.
okay, but I want to get it some paint on the model as soon as possible, because like I said last time, you know, it's different if you're playing an army and you're beating somebody around and their models are painted and they're beautiful, because it's like, oh, at least you put some time and effort into your army. You thought about this. You kind of strategically figured this out.
Right.
It's like, okay, you know, I appreciate your investment into the hobby as well. It's not like you just, oh, this is the newest, coolest tech I could find on the internet, and I've just bought it, I assembled it, and now I'm beating you with it because I copy pasted something from the internet.
Right.
And you may have done that, but look, you took the extra time to put some paint on it. Now a little bit of, okay, I'll give you a little bit. I'm not as mad at you.
At least
you know.
it looks good.
Yeah, it looked good beating me up, you know.
Right.
If you're gonna beat someone up, do it with some flair. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I talked about the intentions and your thing, because it's really easy to change your mind with your intention
Oh my
midway
gosh.
through.
You should see my
When-
army right now. It's 3 different colors of blue.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
I mean, when you're sitting up going, all right, I'm painting these to get them on the table and to paint them, and I need to have them done by Saturday. It is now Wednesday.
Yeah, well,
Okay, and then, well, I
it
get
can be done.
like one model, I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
like a jack, and I'm like, okay, it is Wednesday. I want to get this on the table by Saturday night.
Oh, you can do that.
So yeah, you totally do that, and that is it. I'm painting this to get on the table. However, if I then turn it into a work of art, I'm not getting it. I'm
No.
not getting it on the table.
No.
Nor am I turning it into a work of art that hits my level of satisfaction.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're gonna sell
So-
yourself short
Yeah,
by
so
rushing it.
I end up doing neither, and that was
Mm.
because I didn't put down an intention. Like, I've got my Resnick, my
Mhm.
Severus Resnick that someone bought me for Christmas 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is still in pieces because
Well,
I haven't
you can
decided.
paint it in pieces, but you should put it together. I think.
Yeah, I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with it.
Is it Sevi? Or is it Resnick 1?
No,
Resnick, which one?
Chariot Resnick.
Oh,
I'll pull up a picture. Yeah, exactly. I'll pull up a picture. So because I didn't set my intentions for what I wanted to do with this model,
mm-hmm.
it's just stuck in limbo. And it's not that it's analysis paralysis. It's that without intention, there's no priority.
Yeah.
And if it's no priority, then it probably isn't going to get done. And it's a standard human nature type thing.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. You gotta set goals for yourself. You gotta stay on top of your own goals. Like, you gotta be your own. If you're gonna be your own boss, so to speak, in the hobby, which you're gonna set your own hours, you're gonna set your
Mhm.
own work parameters and all that, your standards, all of it. So you're basically gonna be your own boss if you think of it that way. But yeah, you gotta be realistic, and you gotta be smart about what you're doing, of course. Sorry, I got a dab. I'm sweating.
Yeah.
But that's why, like I said, I really enjoy doing the approach where I put the 3 colors down first,
Mm-hmm.
and that way, now I can put it on the table. It's got the base colors in place. It doesn't have the shades, maybe. It doesn't have the highlights, most likely. And it doesn't have any of the extra superfluous detail. I really want to get all the little trinkets and doodads and bits and bobs. It probably doesn't have all that stuff, and that's okay. All that stuff can be done later. Because, like I said, maybe it's Wednesday night, you're trying to go play on Saturday. Now you got some paint on it. Your opponent's going to see where you're going with it. You see where you're going
Mhm.
with it. And honestly, from that point, once you kind of dip your toes in the water, you kind of just want to get in the pool, if you ask me, man. Like, I'm already here. Let's get into it.
That's exactly it.
And so, like I said, the first thing you got to do to start painting is start painting. Like, you got to start putting paint on your models, or you're not going to. Like, your Resnick is a great
Yeah.
example.
I mean,
He
here
hasn't
we
even
go.
been. I saw the box out there,
Yeah,
so I
we
imagine
have
he's still
a
in it.
picture of him for the people that are viewing.
Yeah.
Just look at that guy. Look at that guy. Just
Yeah.
all those intricate little pieces of armor plating with the gold and the whole thing. And honestly, like, if you guys don't play the game, it's fine. You may not know what you're looking at, but it doesn't matter how you play the model. This thing looks amazing.
Yeah,
You know?
it's one of the better models they've put out, in my opinion. For
Yeah,
Predator Press.
and I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it as a display or if I'm putting it on the table, or so I just haven't done anything with it. you
Well, my recommendation is you listen to what I'm saying. You put 3 colors on it, and then you just work up from there. Because
Ah,
even if it's not finished, you're in a holding pattern with it that it's good enough to use. You got color on it, so you're kind of participating in the hobby aspect of it. And if it takes you a little while to get around to getting the details and stuff on it, so be it. I would rather see you come with an entire army that's all blue, and then the next time I play you, it's all blue with some purple on it or some green on it.
with a thing.
It's moved forward. Even if it's a unit at a time, I would rather see you come with a unit somewhat painted every time, a little further, than see one model fully finished and the rest of your army be gray. That's my personal preference. Everyone's going to have their own style and their own preference. But I think from a gaming standpoint, because you want to get out there and game with these models, I do.
Oh, absolutely,
I think a lot of people do. And then but you also, like I said, you don't want to sell yourself short on the hobby aspect, because you're paying a lot for these models if you're buying the actual models and whatnot. And they're beautiful models in a lot of cases. Even the less good ones are still really pretty.
Yeah. I mean, not everything is a confrontation mini.
Not everything. No. And not everything's.
Damn it, Rakan, why'd you have to go out of business? Because your stuff was too expensive.
But yeah, not everything's gonna be the same quality, and not every paint job you're gonna do is gonna be as good. Every time you put paint to the brush or brush to the model, you're probably gonna see improvement.
Yeah.
The whole process of painting, like you gotta mix your paint with water and you gotta thin it out. You know, that's thinning your paint. If you're gonna mix colors, if you're not gonna take color straight out of the pot, if you're gonna get fancy and mix your colors, you gotta get that formula down for yourself.
Exactly.
Whatever that process is, and every time it gets easier and easier. Like the first couple times I was airbrushing, it took me hours to get paint out of the airbrush, and I was like, "What am I doing?" But now it's like, "Oh no, I got droppers. I got a bunch of droppers from Amazon for $1." And now I'm just like, okay, I need 2 parts water and I need 1 part paint, and then this is a thicker paint, so I need a little more water, and then here's a little flow improver, and boom, mix it in the pot, boom, perfect every time, consistency exactly where I want it. But it took weeks.
There was a learning curve on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And speaking of learning curve, we're going into our next segment. Now here is a really big thing. We talked about mixing paint, and I'm like, oh, mixing paint, because one of the things I've always liked, and I found out I was okay at, was picking your colors.
Oh, color theory, yeah.
Yeah, color theory, picking colors. Now, I make it very clear. Painting, drawing, animation, that is sorcery to me. That is just like seriously, like I have a lot of friends who are artists and animators and things like that. And I tell them, wait, you draw sound? You draw thoughts, and you make it look like something that other people can recognize. What kind of crazy incantation hand magic is this that you are doing? And they're like, yeah, but I've seen your paint. I've seen your model paints. Like, you're really good at color. I'm like, what? You know. So
Bumped your mic again.
yeah, I know. I bump my mic a lot. That's kind of my way of saying bad joke. Is this thing on? Anyway, so what I wanted to help out our listeners. Okay, listeners. Sorry, you guys have to watch the live stream, because we're gonna explain this as best as we can. But it really helps if you can see. And this is some basic color theory, just basic color theory. So if you're listening on SoundCloud, we're gonna try and explain this. But you know, I'm an okay teacher. Let's see how good this goes. Okay. Now with color theory, essentially, what does that mean? It really is, how do you pick colors that match? You know, how do you pick colors that look good with each other? And if we take a good look here, I was able to look up and find a color wheel with 12 points, 12 colors on a color wheel. So for those of you guys listening, I want you guys to think of a clock. Okay? Just think of a clock. So we've got your 12 o'clock position being red, your 3 o'clock being kind of a yellowish orange, your 6 o'clock being a good solid green, and your 9 o'clock being a nice royal blue. So essentially, there are different types of color combinations. Yeah, you see, I'm doing this whole picture-in-picture thing. I'm getting pretty good at that whole thing. Yeah, might even start doing, like, you know, I could do split screen if I really want. You know, I really could. You know, doing that whole, yeah, look at me, we're arguing on screen. You know, but looking at the positions on the thing, I'll leave the link in the description below so you guys can check out the article that I got this on. But most people look at color theory, and there are so many meta messages, so much jargon. And what it comes down is this. I think in mathematics, not good at stuff, also thinks in mathematics.
Mostly.
You know, so what we're doing here is we're going to break down this color wheel into the positions of a clock. Now, there are different types of colors that complement each other, or color titles. So what we're looking at right now, these are complementary. Okay, this is complementary theory, and the names of these things are like, you know, there's a lot of different ones, but yeah, these are complementary. And if you notice, it is always directly opposed from each other. So it's the 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock position, the 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock position, the 11 o'clock, 5 o'clock positions. Just draw a straight line from the middle of the color. You know, if you guys think of it like a clock, you know, 12, 6, 1, 7, 2, 8, 3, 9. Just give it six positions apart. So +6 or -6, and that gives you the next
Point.
yeah, the next point of color, you know, which is honestly a pretty basic color scheme. You know, this is why red and green, think Christmas, you know, blue and kind of orange tends to go together.
Or like yellow and purple is like the
Exactly.
Lakers.
Yeah.
A lot of sports teams have complementary colors.
Oh God, yeah, that is such a good point on that. So yeah, I mean, when we're going on that, now with
I think the blue, yellow, this would be the 8 o'clock and the 2 o'clock. I think that's the color scheme for the Chargers, or when they're saying
and the Golden State Warriors
and the
and
Warriors.
the Rams.
So
and-
you could probably
yeah.
go around this wheel and find all your favorite teams.
Yeah, if you know the sports balls teams.
Yeah, if you know
But,
sports balls.
You know, for comic book stuff, you know, well, let's face it, red and green, 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you got Christmas. You know those things go together.
Absolutely.
So if you've got the Christmas color, pick a third color, or more to the point, sometimes a metallic. And you've got the Christmas color robot, or the Christmas color thing, and that's it. That's your color scheme.
Santa's good boy robot.
Right. So, yeah, so looking at that, that is most definitely one of the big things that you can use when it comes to these theories. Now, the next thing I got, no, you guys saw nothing. Yeah, so, now this is the triad color scheme.
Yeah, that's the way I
Okay.
like to do it.
And it's very simple. If you take the positions, all you do is pick a color, go clockwise 3 steps.
4.
4 steps, yeah, sorry. Go clockwise 4 steps, and you have the next color. Go clockwise 4 steps from there, and you have your third color. Looking at the chart that we have on the board right now, we've got purple, orange, and green. If you guys are as big a fan of the Batman animated series as I am, you have, he almost goes without saying, but you have the Joker, you know, with the purple, orange, and green color scheme. And if you apply this formula, you know, pick a color on the 12 point and move 4, then you've got your next color. And these are just basic ways to do it. If you guys aren't really into the minis painting, that's fine. If you're drawing or using a coloring book, matter of fact, that could be a challenge. Go to the 99-cent store, get a coloring book, click the link that we're using, and color this stuff using this stuff, and you'll see that your art game goes way up.
Yeah, you can get some interesting results doing stuff like that. One of the guys I look up to who's a painter, he likes to say he's a professional paint by numbers guy. And so, you know, like you were saying with your friends that do like animation and whatnot, who create from a blank canvas, they create something. Painting a model is a lot simpler.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, you know where the shoulder is. You don't need to visualize it. It's right there.
Right.
Just
You don't have to
put
do the
it-
math. It's draw
right
up the
there.
shoulder. You know?
Yeah, so, you know, definitely don't be intimidated by painting minis. And,
Oh, no.
you know, doing a coloring book will reinforce, hey, I got to stay inside the lines.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a simple concept, but it's going to come across your life all the time.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
that's probably
You know?
why we get harped on it as kids.
You
I don't
stay within
know.
the lines. But yeah, so what we have on the next set of color picking, because one of the other things about picking color with color theory, using one of these techniques over and over again can get boring.
Absolutely.
Can get very boring. That's why there are so many. So I give to you, ladies and gentlemen, we went from triadic last time. This is what's called, ready? Split complementary. Okay? Split complementary is really simple. Pick a color and then go 2 clockwise, like skip 2. Pick that next color, and then the one that you skipped, go directly across the color wheel from that. So you have an acute triangle. as you can see. So in our example, we've got the 11 position, the 1 position, and the 6 position, which gives us a light purple, a dark orange, and a solid green.
Yep.
And those 3 working together, again, we have another point of this is the 90s Joker color palette, where the triadic was more the 1965, color palette. This helps gives you a lot of bold and a lot of contrast.
Yeah.
And again, when you see that, these things pop and they stick out in your head. So, you're thinking 3 colors. Well, he's telling us to pick 3 colors. How do we pick 3 colors? We've got,
I didn't do this intentionally, but this is exactly how I painted my army. If you look from the 9 o'clock, which is that royal blue, I go up 1 to the purple, down 1 to the lighter blue, and go across to the 3 o'clock, which is that solid yellow, and that's my current army color scheme.
And you see,
I just thought, this looks really good together, and it's like, color theory says yes, it does look good together.
And see, the reason that this theory was made was because these are the way that colors happen in nature. They appear in nature, so you might not know it, but your brain knows that these things go together.
Which is probably also why we don't eat blue food.
There is no naturally occurring blue food.
Yeah. The closest thing you have is blueberry, but is that technically purple?
Yeah. And try eating a blue flower. Those things taste terrible. They're not food. And they have no nutritional sustenance value.
Not for humans. No, anyways.
So yeah. So I mean, a lot of these things you may have already done just like Dave. You may have already used these things before. Now we're getting into the why. Why do they work? How do you think about it? So instead of accidentally being good at stuff, you can do it on purpose.
Do I gotta change my name now?
Huh?
I'm accidentally good at stuff?
No, because you're still not good. You're just lucky.
That's
just lucky.
That's true.
At stuff. Now, if we get into our next thing, so remember, this one is called the split complementary. Okay, split complementary because they split the colors. They're 2 colors that are both complementary toward a third. But that third color, that green down there, has got to complement them both. So think about it like a significant other and their parent. Now this one is actually one of my favorites. This one is called the analogous color scheme. And you see this a lot in advertising, print cards, commercials, and things like that.
Yeah, this is like a lesson in shading and highlighting right here.
Exactly. So you've got, essentially, using the 12 scheme. On our example down here, we're using 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7, just the 3 colors directly next to each other. The primary color that you pick is the 6th position. You pick a color, and then you go 1 in one direction, 1 in another direction. So, so what it ends up giving you is a shading effect along with a second color, because we've got a solid green in the case of 5, 6, 7, solid green, a light green, and then a turquoise or a sky blue next to it. And again, I say sky blue. Well, sky blue and solid green, that's, I don't know, the sky and grass. We see it all the time, And then maybe a lighter shade, but if you move your center color to any other position, like the 8 o'clock position, then we have a solid turquoise, a sky blue, and a dark blue, almost purple.
That's dusk. Dusk.
Dusk. That's, different shades of ocean. So these are color schemes that we put together. Now, if you really want to get adventurous, you can mix the analogous color scheme with any of the other color schemes using the center number on one of the points. So let's take a look here at the analogous color scheme, 5, 6, 7, and apply that to the triad. In the triad, we've got the green 6. So we've got clock positions 11, clock position 1, but then we use clock positions 5, 6, 7, and that's when you start getting fancy. Because you're doing shades of green with a complementary blue that's a split complementary to that other stuff, and now we're getting into like advanced mathematics and all that stuff. But it's a thing. You can do it, and these are the different color theories that you can use to not get bored. Now, the next one that we have, I feel like I'm at a TED Talk.
This feels...
Yeah.
I like it. It feels a little more, little high classy. I like it.
Just trying to... Again, I'm all about showing the people what we're doing.
I'm learning so much stuff right now.
I gave you this.
I know. I didn't.
I gave you this paperwork
I
last
didn't see
night.
any of this in there.
Okay, well, the next thing that we've got going through is this is called the rectangle, or since I like fancy 50-cent words, the triadic color scheme. Or sorry, the tetradic, as in tetrahedron, color scheme. And this is really simple. It's skip 2, then skip 4. So in our example, we have the 12 o'clock position, the 2 o'clock position, the 6 o'clock position, and then the 8 o'clock position for our colors. That gives us a solid red, orange, green, and turquoise color scheme. Okay, do you see where we're getting in with that? And using those gives you sort of the effect of, how can I put this? This is almost what the monitor that you're looking at me on is based on. The red, yellow, green, or red, orange, green, with a hint of blue. And using those 4, again, as long as you keep the shape, the skip 2, skip 4, skip 2, skip 4, and you can turn that rectangle on anywhere, and you've got your 4 color scheme. Okay. So again, what we have here is the 12 o'clock, the 2 o'clock, the 4 o'clock, the 6 o'clock. Sorry, 12, 2, 6, 8. All right. For those of you listening, you know, on the 12-point color wheel, red being 12 o'clock. Just keep going. Again, we left a link to this on the SoundCloud, so you can take a look. You know, and finally, not finally, the 2 major things. Now, if you guys can see on the screen, it's a more subtle one. You guys are probably used to seeing this if you're playing with Photoshop or GIMP or anything like that. But that's the color wheel without it being a 12-point. But the principle is exactly the same. It's just more subtle shading. But I put this 2-point one here because if you take a look at your last 12-point, if you separate it from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock, those are your warm colors and your cool colors. How do we know? Well, the easiest way for me to always differentiate between warm colors and cool colors are the colors of ice and cold water. Warm colors, fire. So, warm colors, we have red, orange, yellow, yellowish green, like leaves turning in autumn. And the cool colors, we've got, like, you know, on the warmer side, purple, but really dark blue, light blue, icy blue, into green. So, you know, so the shades of blue are cool. From the shades of green to the first shades of purple are cool colors. And those are colors associated with lower temperatures.
Yeah, when I was like in 6th grade or something like that, and I was first introduced to the idea of warm and cool colors, I thought darker colors were cool colors and brighter colors were warm colors, and that's not true because you could have a really, really bright electric blue and still considered a cool color. Yeah. So which is really cool.
Because it's electricity. It's like cool mint dentine.
Sure.
I guess.
But yeah, like you said, water and fire is a good way to kind of generalize it. But I mean, you got to be careful because fire sometimes has blue in it.
No, basic fire.
Yeah,
not
basic
like the
fire in the
stuff.
woods, not your stove. Yeah. But yeah, and cool warm color is a real easy way to do some color choice making.
Very much so.
Yeah,
very much so.
Because you're like, oh, I got a lot of cool colors on this. I want something to really pop. Throw in a warm color, it will pop.
Right.
You got to be careful.
Which warm color?
And so I got to say, you got to be careful because if you don't choose the complementary color to what you're mostly seeing.
A complementary color or using these formulas.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, because the formulas give which colors are complement.
Yep. Not
just direct complement, which is the 6 o'clock or the straight line thing.
Well, I mean, you could use that, but I would avoid that personally.
Yeah.
That's how you end up with Christmas. And I don't like painting my models to look like Christmas.
Yeah, again,
personally. But
but it's always a good place to start.
Absolutely.
It's a very good place to start.
I think the split complementary is a really great way to
a
up
lot
your
of
game without a lot of effort.
Yeah, it's true. Because you've still got the 3 color scheme.
Yep.
Now, personally, I personally prefer the rectangle. I really do. Yes. Yes, I personally prefer the rectangle. You know, the rectangle or the tetrahedron because it kind of has the Christmas thing, but it has two things to distract that say, I'm not Christmas!
Yeah, so as long as you throw in a third color, you get away from
Yeah.
Christmas with the red and green. But
Especially since a lot of the times the third color that I choose, or the fourth color that I choose, is the metallic, which we'll get into after we go through this one, the solid square.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
well, who's going to paint the square, right?
Yeah,
There we go.
solid square. Now, the solid square is very simple. Skip 3. So, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Okay, the 90-degree angles. And these are very much the way your computer or your phone monitor works. And this is, use these colors. Given the example that we have a solid red, a solid green, a solid blue, and an orangish yellow. Okay, so what that gives us, if I were to put this on a model, per se, I would have a blue model with red highlights in certain parts, green highlights in certain part, and solar. Where would you put the orange? The answer is gold trim.
Yeah,
that
would do it.
And there we have things like, Signar from War Machine, or certain models of Space Marines from 40K.
Yep.
Because these guys have weapons.
They
they hold
do.
guns.
They do.
So are those guns green sticks? Are those guns bloody? That's where a lot of that red comes in.
Nice way to put it in there.
Yeah.
I remember when Duggernaut was trying to decide on a color for his army, the glow effect of plasma vents.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah,
We
and there was a
talked
lot of
about it.
discussion going around on that because we couldn't settle. He has a kind of an avocado green army, and yeah, you didn't want to. He wanted to use red originally, and it's like, no, that's too Christmassy. We were bouncing ideas around, like, oh, should I do a blue? Should I do a
And
white?
it turned out, according to color theory, the answer was pink.
It was pink,
Yeah,
and it
was
looks
pink.
great.
Yeah, exactly. And
It
it's like,
looks
I don't
great.
want to put pink on my models. And it's
Yeah.
like, really, look at this. Oh, dude, that's pretty awesome. Now that's pink.
See, I didn't want to. I ended up painting a bunch of my models with rainbow colors because I was able to nail the transition and the gradient real well with using my airbrush.
Right?
And it sells a very unique effect that's appropriate for my army. And a lot of people see it and they go, oh, wow, like, how hard was that? It's super easy to do, it turns out. And originally I was against the idea. I wanted to use a lot of blues and greens because those are my favorite colors and they work well for my army. But throwing in those yellows and those reds to give it that rainbow effect just makes it pop so much. And it's a little bit off topic of what we're doing specifically with the color wheel because I'm just mixing a whole bunch of gradients, but with the rainbow. But with a lot of different colors, like I said, with the plasma color, for example, with the pink and the green, it really, really works very well. So yeah, using these techniques really actually work a lot.
Yeah.
Very well.
And
Work very
again,
well.
and see, color theory was actually used hundreds of years ago. Like, it has stood the test of time.
Well, 'cause
this is what
Newton-
Michelangelo
Newton's
and
the first guy who did it, right?
no, well, he was the first guy to record it.
Okay.
But if you look back through art history, we're talking freaking the Roman temples and synagogues before they lost all that stuff.
Yeah.
The Chinese have been doing it for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Anywhere and nature.
Yeah.
Plants and animals and
2,000 years ago.
8 million years ago, the dinosaurs had this thing.
The
Well,
dinosaurs were doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
If the dinosaurs can do it, you can do it too.
Even educated, please do it. Yeah.
Educated, please do it. Oh, you lost me on that
it's a
one.
thing. Ooh, yeah, almost did that. So yeah, but that is a real, honest to God thing. Sorry, we just had a sound hiccup there.
Oh no.
It's okay, because we do the sound hiccup thing, and that's fine.
Hiccups. There's no such thing as mistakes.
Yeah.
Happy accidents.
Nope, just little hiccups, little sound hiccups. But yeah, so I mean that's just a sort of a crash course in color theory, and this is really important for when you're thinking about doing models and stuff, and you're picking your color palette and understanding these things. And like I said, I'm putting a link to to this little lesson in the thing below so that people can go and download the PDF itself. It's free. And what I find that understanding these concepts does is it says, hey, are you having a hard time picking your next thing? Like, you're stuck with the, I want to do this, I really want to get this out, but I'm just stuck, I don't know what to do. Again, that question mark that the Duggernaut had with what color should I make the plasma?
Sure,
You know, and looking at the color wheel, looking at these theories like split complementary or direct opposing, would have solved the problem in about 25 minutes.
I mean, probably less than that. But to throw a wrench in this whole system, I was gonna say is if you know what colors you want, you can ignore the color wheel if you know what you want. What the color wheel is really good for is, hey, I really want blues, I really want greens, I really want yellows. What shade of green? What shade of blue? That's where I abuse the color wheel. And it's like, oh, I want blue. Oh, yellow's a really good choice. Do I want more of an orangey yellow? Do I want more of a true, like a sunflower yellow?
Yeah.
It's like, what's the yellow? Canary yellow?
Canary,
I'm like, what yellows are there? So many.
Yeah, but, I mean, but quite simply, a lot of the stuff that we talk about, like, again, this is all just intellectual theory. When it comes to you being creative, these are the rules that you have to help you or to run away from. It's one of the two. You like the colors you pick your colors. If you're picking your colors and you're not happy with it, the color wheel is a tool that you can use to not quite salvage, but yeah, to salvage.
I mean, there's some salvaging. Like we said, there's a lot of eBay rescues available.
Oh yeah,
for minis, because
totally.
People didn't know what to do, or they ran out of steam on the hobby, or whatnot.
They ran out of patience. You know,
patience is a big part of the steam buildup. So. Yeah, you can choose all kinds of different colors, and an easy way to salvage a paint job that you don't know where you're going with anymore, you kind of lost your way, color wheel really helps.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Whenever you're stuck, you can refer back to it.
So, yeah, and for those of you guys
Super
that...
easy to use.
Yeah, so for those of you guys that are really interested in a lot of this stuff, well, I'm happy that you're interested, because being interested is a very cool thing.
Yep.
But if you guys have any questions, then feel free to ask Not Good at Stuff. Where do they find you?
Oh, geez, you can find me on Twitter. It's all these accounts. You can find me on Reddit. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch, which I try to stream on there. Goodness, some other places I imagine. But anyways, it's NOTEVNG. Not even good. GUDC. I gotta spell it out.
He's not even good at spelling his own name.
STUF. It's complicated. 15-letter limit, man. It's a complicated name.
Yeah,
just call me Dave, though. You gotta find this atrocious name I've made for myself. But just call me Dave.
Oh,
people call me Naughty or even. And it's like, no, just call me Dave, man. It's fine. It's just a screen name. It's a placeholder.
Awesome. And if you guys got questions more about color theory, or where to find some more resources, or just to tell us that we're just playing wrong, or let's face it, this is YouTube, somebody's going to tell us what we mispronounced or got wrong, leave a comment below, because just leave a comment right down there, because again, we read them. I go through this stuff every single week just so I can be like, hey, who said what at what point, blah, blah, blah. So that we can address them either the next week or one of us, because you never know which bid P you're talking to. One of us might be like, hey, man, you actually have a point. And then there'll be another bid P going, no, he doesn't. And then we start a flame war with ourselves. It's a little weird.
It's like having multiple personality.
Yeah, it's true. But if you really want to contact us directly, feel free to contact us at backinthedeck@gmail.com. That is BACKINTHEDCK@gmail.com. Feel free to keep following us here, like, subscribe, and let the channel grow and all that stuff. We are not monetized here on YouTube. I'm letting you guys know that right now. We're just trying to get our word out there. So spread the word at YouTube/BidP. And also feel free at any particular time to subscribe to our Twitter at Back on the Deck. Also join the Deckers on the Book on the Facebook, and For those of you guys that are listeners, you already know, but let your friends know to find us on SoundCloud. That's SoundCloud/BidP, little b, little I, little d, underscore p. Follow our Instagram to see what the studio looks like, what pictures of all of us, the stuff that we're working on, and all that jazz at Instagram/BackInTheDeck. And you can find me personally all over the place. I'm on Deckers on the book, and I'm always checking the Twitter and all that other stuff. But you can find me on Twitter at SolarX1, and look up Solar on the Facebooks if you really want to do that whole thing. But I'll let you know that if there are arguments or somebody trying to be in control, everybody who shows up on camera in this company has the van hammer, and I swear we're heavy-handed with it. So, but again, send us an email if you have a problem with that. Talk to us directly on the company email. Check out our GoFundMe, which is again right down there in the arguments. Actually, it's in the description. So head down to the description.
The arguments.
Yeah, and head up to the description. And again, I'm gonna say, never forget that if somebody tells you that you can't like what you like because of the circumstances of your birth, you just look at them and say, you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm a person of color, or female, or disabled, or rural poor, or LGBT, or I don't know, an immigrant that came over here like 4 or 5 months ago. You just tell them to take all those cards and put it back in the deck, because you are you, and you can like what you like as long as you ain't hurting anybody. Anyway, this is Solar Gray saying, hit us up on that YouTube and all that jazz. And for Hobby Hall, this is Solar Gray along with
Not even good stuff, Dave.
All right, and we will catch you guys next week on the Hobby Hall.
Hot. It's really hot. So hot. Please make me stop.
Also, music by Kevin MacLeod for the opening credits.